So a couple of things on step 2, which would be uploading the assets. Just a couple of things to call out. Again, none of this is really difficult. There are a couple of quirks within AEM that we're just going to call out. Certainly everyone knows how to work and upload assets into a repository. But really, there are a couple of things we just want to call out. One of them is being able to search for duplicate assets. So here we are in the DAM, and this is a pretty small folder. It's got maybe just a handful of assets here, but some folders are going to have a lot of assets in them. So you may be working on a property in a business unit that's got a lot of logos or whatever it may be, and you just want to check and make sure you're not going to bury over the top of some asset that's already out there. You can click on the search. We're in the DAM. We have the digital assets tab, and you can see there's all kinds of parameters that you can use, modified before, after date. You can search a particular path. If you're trying to find out if a particular asset is already in a folder. I happen to be in the folder that I want to search. So I'm just going to pop in a search term there and click return. And then it shows me, yes, that asset does exist here. In fact, it's already been activated. There's probably a good chance it's in a web page at this point. That's really one of the primary uses for the search tab, is to determine if there's already an asset in there with a similar name, if you're going to be bringing in an asset that you think may not be unique. Just something to check on. Some of the pre-work before you actually go through and upload an asset is making sure your folders are named and organized correctly. So again, on the CMS Online Help Guide, we've got folder naming convention. Again, these are just recommendations. It'll change from property to property. Let's go take a look at that. So here's the asset folder structure guidance that we have. Here are just some examples of names that you might see. So common might contain logos and icons and hero images. We have an ecosystem, QuickBooks, Sandbox. It's really up to every property to decide how they want to set up these folder structures. So it's just really important just for findability and to make your job faster that you adhere to some sort of asset folder structure. So we're going to go through and just create a couple of folders in here just to show you how incredibly simple it is. I'll go ahead and navigate to my node within the DAM. Under the new, we're just going to click on new folder. And then I can go through and add whatever I would like to call that. Common works. And just as simple as that, I've got a common folder under there. Then if I wanted to upload some assets into that, I could do that. So again, very, very simple, very straightforward, and just something, for the most part, you will probably already have these folders in place, but if you get charged with organizing the content within your node and your property, just make sure that you establish that kind of guidance and you're intentional about it. So the other thing we're going to look at is just the simple piece of uploading an asset. So there are a couple of different ways you can do it. So the first one is drag and drop, and then we have the file import. So we're actually going to look at the file import first. So I'm going to go to that folder I just created. I'm going to put it into common. So again, I'm in the DAM. I've clicked into the folder on the left-hand nav tree. And I'm going to go through here and go through and under new command, choose new file. That will open up the upload assets dialog box. And from there, I can browse and find the assets that I want. If I want 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, whatever it may be, just highlight those assets, open them up, and it's going to provide, and it gives you a list. So if I wanted to, there are a couple of different locations I wanted to go through and grab some assets. If I wanted to rename an asset, this is a great place to be able to do that as well. I'm okay with that. I'm just going to click upload, and those files are up. And you can see here, this one is still in progress. There are a couple of routines that are run on assets as they're uploaded into the DAM. So this will go away in just a moment. You can see it's in progress. The status is DAM update. So if you were to refresh, I'm sure this will have been updated already. It goes very quick. So there we go. And there are those 3 assets. So method number 1 is just using the new file off the file list. The other way you can upload assets is to go to your desktop, keep AEM open, and then drag and drop. So I could just highlight these assets, and here I'm going to grab, I'll just grab the same assets. I'm just going to drag and drop them back in on top of the assets that are already in there. Now you can see as I go to do that, AEM realizes, you've got something named that way already. So there are a couple of different options of what you can do here. So one is to create a version. So if we wanted to create a separate version of this asset, we would click create a version. That's going to allow us to create a version and essentially have two versions of whatever each one of those assets are. We could replace the asset. And to replace it is really, we're just going to swap it out. So whatever, if we had gone through and made some cosmetic changes or aesthetic changes to this, and we just wanted to update the asset and swap it out, we would just use that replace. And then here's one, and it's a little non-intuitive in the way it's named, but it's the cancel option. And that's actually going to allow you to adjust the names on these. Okay, so what you may have noticed is that nothing happened. And that is because when you're dragging and dropping assets into the DAM, AEM will go through and check to see if there's a duplicate asset there, but it doesn't give you the opportunity to rename the asset. So it's just a small difference in the two different ways that you upload assets. So again, you can see this asset is the same as this asset. I'm just going to drag it in there. It knows that it's a duplicate, but it doesn't allow us any option to rename it. All you can do is replace it or create a version of that. So if you went through and did the file, new file, upload, and you grab that asset, let's just grab all three of them, open, it's going to give you the opportunity here to change the name here. So when you click upload, it says, oh, these are already in here. I could create a version, I can replace it, but when you click cancel, it's going to allow you again to come back and change that name. It won't let you just go through and swap them out if you click cancel. So if I was to change these names, then it's going to allow me to bring these assets in under a separate name. Very simple process of uploading images to the DAM. The only drawback in drag and drop is that if you actually want to bring them in and there's a duplicate and you want to change the name, you can't do it through the AEM interface. You'll have to use the new file upload. So that's it for step 2, uploading assets. Basically, we've learned how to search for assets, how to name folders, and then the two different ways to upload assets to the DAM.